Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day.
Happy Friday afternoon to all our listeners via Dance Radio 106.3 and to all our viewers via Facebook live stream. Welcome po to our scientific session this afternoon. We would like also to greet a pleasant afternoon all the dance family, of course headed by our very active and supportive education program supervisor and at the same time the officer in charge, Dr. Rodrigo V. Pascua, the equally supportive and active assistant principal designate, Ma'am Ruby R. Guillermo, and our dear head teachers, most especially to our very own science learning area head teacher, Ma'am Annabel Rodriguez. Good afternoon, everyone. And of course, to our grade 8 SSE learners, welcome to this session which is especially prepared for you. Actually, I'm very excited, Mom and Sir, because I believe this is the first time that we will be having an school on the air lesson and live streaming for Research 1. Am I correct, Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, ma'am. You are right. Our dear grade 8 science class are so lucky because today you are going to learn how to write a research introduction only here in our Facebook Live and Dance Radio.
Wow, and that's a very good opportunity, ma'am, to our grade 8 Aristotle, Copernicus, and Socrates. Prepare yourselves and listen attentively.
Okay, so what are we waiting for? Let us all listen to this radio-based instruction. We will be right back after the RBI airing. Enjoy listening!
Okay, we will be right back.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio. Learning is amazing.
Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science, science, science. This is your class, and this is science.
Good day, our dear listeners, especially to our grade 8 special science class learners. I am teacher Rio Faye B. Magaway, your radio teacher. We are glad because you are with us in our alternative delivery mode of education through the use of this radio-based instruction. It is a great privilege that you can join us in fun learning through radio. At this moment, please get your learning activity sheet titled Create a Research Space, CARS Model of Introduction, your pen and notebook. Assistance of your parents, siblings, or relatives are encouraged in answering the learning activity sheet, particularly in the activities where you need to perform tasks. Are you ready to start? From the previous lesson in research, you have learned about the research problem and hypothesis. What else did we discuss about the research problem?
Ma'am, we discussed about the sources, considerations in formulating, and choosing the research problem.
Very good! What else?
We also discussed what is hypothesis and the variables included in formulating hypothesis.
That's right! The research problem states the area of concern of the research paper, whether it is a circumstance needing development, a difficulty requiring attention, or an inquiry necessitating an answer. However, in formulating the research problem, there are things to consider. What are they?
Ma'am, there are external criteria and internal criteria in formulating the research problem. Examples of internal criteria is availability and adequacy of facilities and equipment, and for external criteria is motivation, interest, intellectual curiosity, and perceptiveness of the researcher.
Great! Good job! The researcher needs to consider both the internal and external criteria in formulating the research problem in order to conduct and finish their researches on time. How about hypothesis? Why is formulating hypothesis important after constructing the research problem?
Ma'am, hypothesis serves as a tentative answer to your research problem. There are two types of hypothesis, alternative and null hypothesis, ma'am.
Very good! It seems that you really understood our past lesson. We shall start our new lesson after an infomercial.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia.
Ten things we love about research. 1. It provides the chance to learn new things. 2. You get to work with all kinds of different people. 3. You can turn mistakes into learning experiences. 4. You can take your learning anywhere. 5. You are in a field where knowledge grows fast. 6. You get to read a toy of books. 7. It provides the chance to have shared experiences. 8. It fosters constant bravery and persistence. 9. You have the power to make difference in the world. 10. You get to celebrate when it pays off. This trivia is brought to you by DonLab.com. Kaagham, Doña Aurora National High School, and this station.
It's science time!
You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back! At the end of this radio-based instruction lesson, you are expected to write an introduction following the Create a Research Space or CARS model. Are you ready to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck! Why is it important to write a good research introduction?
Ma'am, writing a good introduction is very important because it provides the first impression for the readers to continue reading the text.
Nice answer! Good job! A good introduction will provide a solid foundation and encourage readers to continue on to the main parts of your research paper. Today, we are going to discuss a model that will be very helpful in writing your research introduction. Are you ready?
Wow! Wow! Yes, ma'am.
Did you know that there is a researcher who developed a model in creating a research introduction?
That is a good news, ma'am.
And he is Sir John Suarez. He developed the Create a Research Space model, or also known as the CARS model of introduction.
What is all about the model, ma'am?
Good question. His model attempts to explain and describe the organizational pattern of writing the introduction of research studies.
The model will be useful to us, ma'am.
You are right. That's why you need to listen properly. The CARS model or CARS model can be useful approach because it helps you to begin the writing process, understand the way in which an introduction sets the stage for the rest of your paper, and assess how the introduction fits within the larger scope of your study.
That's nice to hear, ma'am.
You just need to remember 3 moves in this model. The first move is called establishing a territory. The second move is establishing a niche. And the third move is occupying the niche.
Wow! 3 moves only, ma'am.
Definitely!
Wow!
Let's start with the first move, which is establishing a territory. What do we mean by territory?
Ma'am, a territory is a geographic area belonging to government authority.
Correct! That is why in this move, you are going to establish a territory by demonstrating that a general area of research is important, interesting, problematic, or otherwise worthy of investigation.
Therefore, ma'am, in the first move, we have to build our territory by explaining a problem and why it needs to get investigated.
Exactly! In the first move, you have to catch the attention of your readers by first presenting a problem that needs to be addressed. In this move, you have to give your reasons about the relevance of conducting a research to solve a certain problem.
Nice, ma'am. Truly, our readers will get fascinated to start reading our introduction.
Correct! Good job! Always remember that in the first move, you have to introduce the topic and the issue. Now, let us discuss the second move. The second move, titled Establishing a Niche. Do you know what is a niche?
Ma'am, a niche is like a place or habitat for which a person or thing is best fitted.
Great answer! After establishing a territory, it is now time to establish your own niche. In this move, the author will argue that there is an open niche in the existing or past research, and this space needs to be filled through additional research.
That means the niche is the reason or motivation for the research, ma'am?
Correct! In this move, you will now fill up the open niche of the previous research. You are going to prepare your audience to understand how your research relates to the background you have given, highlighting gaps or problems in current knowledge that justify or explain the need for further investigation.
Nice, ma'am. What is the last move, ma'am?
The third move, titled Occupying the Niche, the researcher turns the niche established in the second move into the research space that he or she will fill.
Ma'am, in this move, you are going to explain the things that you need to do to fill the gaps in the previous research.
Yes, you have a point. This step is an explanation of how you are responding to the need for further investigation. Explain how your research addresses the need you identified in the previous step and list your specific research objectives, questions, or methods.
That makes our introduction clear to our readers, ma'am.
Exactly! This model created by John Swales will help you write a good research introduction as a beginner researcher. All you need to do is to be guided by all the moves that Swales suggested, and you'll arrive writing an excellent research introduction.
Wow!
It's time to answer the activity in your learning activity sheets right after an infomercial.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Did you know that a group of Filipino college students invented gloves that can translate Filipino Sign Language into English speech in real time? A group of electrical engineering college students from Camarines Sur Polytechnic College made the Filipino Sign Language interpreting gloves for their research problem. The gloves have thin elastic sensors located in each of the 5 fingers. The project gives voice to the deaf and speech-impaired people. With this, the communication barrier could be lessened, allowing the deaf and speech-impaired people to express themselves and give them opportunities to grow in their respective careers. This trivia is brought to you by NylonManila.com, Kaagham, Doña Rora National High School, and 106.3 FM Dance Radio. It's science time! You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back! Open your learning activity sheets on page 2. Activity 1 labeled True or False. Directions. Write true on your answer sheet if you think that the sentence is correct, and false if it is not. Let us have the first one. The Creating a Research Space or CARS model was developed by John Swales. I repeat. The Creating a Research Space or CARS model was developed by John Swales. What is your answer?
Ma'am, the answer is true.
Very good! Good job! Number 2. The Create a Research Space model can help you give your reader a basic overview of your larger project. I repeat. The Create a Research Space model can help you give your reader a basic overview of your larger project.
Ma'am, the answer is true.
Cars can help give your reader a basic overview of your larger project.
Correct! Number 3. The CARS model attempts to explain and describe the organizational pattern of writing the introduction, methodology, and conclusion of research studies. I repeat, the CARS model attempts to explain and describe the organizational pattern of writing the introduction, methodology, and conclusion of research studies.
The answer is false, ma'am. It is because the model explains and describes the introduction part only and not the methodology and conclusion, ma'am.
You got it right. Number 4. The first move of the CARS model sets the context for his or her research, providing necessary background on the topic. I repeat, the first move of the CARS model sets the context for his or her research, providing necessary background on the topic.
The answer is true, ma'am.
Very good! Number 5. The third move in the CARS model argues that there is an open niche in the existing research and a space that needs to be filled through additional research. I repeat, the third move in the CARS model argues that there is an open niche in the existing research and a space that needs to be filled through additional research.
Ma'am, the answer is false because it should be second move.
You got it right. Did you get all the correct answers?
Yes, ma'am.
It proves that you really understood the lesson. This time, let me explain to you the directions in Activity 2 labeled Application. In this activity, you are going to use the research title that you proposed last week and make an introduction following the CARS model. Use the guide statements stated for each move in order to come up with a good research title. Watch the live stream discussion that will follow after these radio-based instructions for you to get more tips in writing your research introduction. You can do this activity in your most convenient time. Let's summarize our lesson for today. What have you learned for today's lesson?
Ma'am, we have learned to create a research space or CARS model of introduction by John Wallace.
What is all about the CARS model?
Ma'am, the CARS model can help a researcher to construct a comprehensive research introduction. It consists of 3 moves. The first move is establishing a territory. In this move, the researcher will explain a problem and why it needs to get investigated.
Yes, how about the second move?
The second move is called establishing a niche in which the researcher will indicate a gap in the previous research and this gap needs to fill in.
The last move is called occupying a niche. In this move, you need to give an explanation of how you are responding to the need for further investigation.
Wow! That is what exactly the CARS model. Very good, my dear learners. You really understood the topic today. Before we end up our lesson, let me ask you one important question. What are the important elements in writing a research introduction?
Ma'am, the introduction of a research paper must include several key elements: a hook to catch a reader's interest, relevant background on the topic, details of our research problem and aims,
and an overview of our research paper.
You had put your best foot forward because you figured out fast. Good job! At this moment, can you give me your most significant learnings for today's lesson?
Ma'am, the most significant learning is that introduction is very important part of our research paper, as it presents the background of our study, introduces our topic and aims, and gives an overview of the paper.
Ma'am, as a beginner researcher, the Create a Research Space model by John Wallace will be helpful as it guides us to construct a good research introduction.
What a good reflection, my dear learners! Congratulations to all of you because you really did well today. That ends our lesson for today. I would like to acknowledge the teachers behind this School on the Air lesson. Teacher Rosel G. Santiago, our script writer. Teacher Riza N. Marzan and Teacher Ryan A. Colcol, our technical specialist. Teacher Venus J. Lintao, our language editor. Teacher Banjelu R. Paraiso and Teacher Annabel A. Rodriguez, our content editors. Thank you very much. I'm Teacher Ryufei B. Magaway, your radio teacher in science. Stay tuned for our live discussion. Good day, everyone.
Dance Radio, siniparalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science.
So, okay, once again, good afternoon and welcome back, my dear learners. So, I am Teacher Mirna Enriquez, and with me are Teacher Rosel Santiago, Teacher Erlinda Ramos, Teacher Benjelu Paraiso, which I believe she is
Via Zoom,
via
ma'am.
Zoom.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, on the technical side, Sir Ryan Colcol.
Wow.
Yan. So, welcome to the first live streaming of Research 1 subject. Okay, that's why I said a while ago, ma'am, I'm so excited because this is our first time to do this kind of live streaming or live discussion.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
So, are you also excited, Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, ma'am. So we are very excited. To our students, sit back, relax, and learn because today we will give you more tips on how to write a good research introduction.
So, but before we start, I want to greet my the students of Sir Prince Bugawisan, so the 8th Copernicus, and also the great Aristotle and Socrates, of course. These are your students, Mama Rosel.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, comment down your sections with our official hashtag. So that is hashtag researcher ako.
Yes, paki-flash naman yung ating official hashtag for today, Sir Ryan.
Ayan. So, hashtag researcher ako.
There's the Ma'am Benjelu. Hello.
Hello, Ma'am Benjelu.
Hi, LDR muna po tayo. Good afternoon.
Okay, so it's a very nice hashtag, Ma'am Rosel. Actually, it's a very great opportunity for everyone to become a researcher. That's a very great and a big opportunity. Okay, so we will start this discussion by having a review of our past lesson. And I believe, Ma'am Lynn, we have,
Yes,
I heard we
ma'am.
have a very special guest.
Yes,
Yes, Ma'am
very special
Mirna.
guest.
Okay, so we will have a guest, of course, from our learners. Ito.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
for our review, we have a special guest, and she is Corinne Bautista of Grade 8 Socrates.
Wow, paki-cheer naman yung mga classmate
Yes.
nyo.
Okay, Corinne.
Corinne
Bautista.
Take it away.
Hello, Corinne. Ayan, nasan na si Corinne? Okay, so Corinne will give us the review about our past lesson, which is all about the research title. Ayan, antayin lang natin, no, ng kaunti. Nandyan na si Corinne. Okay, go Corinne. Magsalita na, Corinne. Hello, Corinne. Please open your mic. Baka naka-mute siya. And open your camera also, Corinne. Ayan, it's your time to shine. Ayan, nakikita na siya. Hello, Corinne.
Good afternoon, Corinne.
Open your mic, Corinne.
Hello, nag-hello siya, pero...
Nag-hello siya.
Yeah.
Pero hindi masyadong marinig. Sir Joshel? Narinig. Oh, mic test tayo, Corinne. Mag-hello ka nga sa iyong mga classmates.
Nag-hello siya pero hindi.
Hello, 8 Socrates.
Nakapagsalita si Ma'am Babes tayo.
Ayan, sinasabi niya eh.
Isa rin lang
Nagsasalita siya, sir. Pero wala.
Okay, anyway, Sir Ryan, paki-flash muna yung yung slide natin about the review, which is all about the research title. Ayan, so may konting technical difficulties, so tayo na lang ang magre-review about the research title. So, ano nga ba ang research title? Ma'am Mirna.
Okay, so when we say a research title, it introduces the study by summarizing the core topic, and it is usually short and to the point, ma'am.
Yes, so yan yung napag-aralan namin last week, research title. So hindi basta-basta ang mag-construct ng research title. So we need to follow some rules, and it is important that your research title must summarize the core topic, and it must be short and to the point.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is all about the research title. Ayan, so this time, ma'am, let us have our new lesson for today, which is all about the course model of introduction.
Okay, and of course, Ma'am Rosel, this lesson will be very helpful to our new researchers, which are the grade 8 learners, because they will be writing their first research introduction.
Yes, so don't worry, learners, because today you will be gaining a lot of tips on how to write your introduction. So we have here our learning competency. Ma'am Linda, what is our learning competency?
Okay, so the learning competency is write an introduction following the CARS model. Okay, so anyway, ma'am, what does CARS stand for?
Yes, ano nga ba itong CARS? So when we say CARS, C stand for create, R is for research, and S is for space. So we have here the CARS, meaning to say, create a research space model of introduction. So for our learners to easily recall, we will use CARS.
Yeah. So that's why we have there in the screen, no?
Yes.
Ang model natin, car.
That's my dream car.
Yes, actually, ma'am, yung car na nakikita natin, that is the most expensive car for the year 2021.
Wow. May pa-trivia.
So, okay, so learners, so please sit back. So listen very well because this time, so we will discuss a brief history of the CARS model. Okay, so let's have a brief history about this model. So it was developed by Sir John Suarez. John Malcolm Suarez is a linguist and he developed the CARS model based upon his analysis of journal articles representing a variety of discipline-based writing practices. His model attempts to explain and describe the organizational pattern of writing the introduction of research studies. So why do we need to learn this CARS model of introduction? No? So bakit ba kailangan? Okay, so this model is essential. Why? Because it will serve as your scaffold in making your introduction, because using the model is also following the steps that Suarez made to create an organized, comprehensive research introduction. So following the CARS model can be useful approach because it can help you to, first, begin the writing process. Because we know, so lahat tayo alam natin that getting started is often the most difficult task.
Yes.
Yung mag-umpisa, the introduction.
Yes, ma'am.
That is also, or that's my experience also, yung pag inuumpisa na kung isang bagay, ang hirap sa umpisa. So the introduction. But pag meron na yon, so madali na lang. Okay, next. Understand the way in which an introduction sets the stage for the rest of your paper. And the third one, assess how the introduction fits within the larger scope of your study. So, in other words, this CARS model of introduction is very helpful, especially to the neophyte or to the beginner researchers, because it is like a framework of the research introduction.
Yes, that is right, Ma'am Lynn. So that is a brief history about the CARS model of introduction. Now, we are about to begin the 3 moves of this CARS model. So starting with, okay, so on your screen we have there the 3 moves. Move 1 is called establishing a territory. Move 2 is called establishing a niche. And move 3 is occupying the niche. So let's have the first move, Ma'am Mirna, which is the establishing a territory. So first question, what do we mean by a territory?
Ma'am Bench, walang sound.
Okay, so ma'am, when we say territory, it is a geographic area belonging to government authority.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Lynn. So, yan, may technical difficulty ulit kay Ma'am Bench, no? Hindi marinig.
Okay. Actually,
Yes.
Ma'am Bench is answering the question, but we cannot
yes.
hear.
Anyway, this is the new normal. We have to be flexible
That's a
enough.
part of our new
Okay.
normal learnings now.
Okay, so Ma'am Lynn, you are right. So here, ayan, okay na Ma'am Bench na delay.
Ayan, mama, ang hirap din pag nasa Zoom. Ayan, nasagot naman na yung tanong mo kanina, ma'am, about territory.
Yes, Ma'am Bench. Okay, so here in the first move, you as a researcher will establish your own territory. So how are you going to do that? So generally, it is accomplished in 2 ways. So the first one is by demonstrating that a general area of a research is important, critical, interesting, problematic, relevant, or otherwise worthy of investigation. So for number 1, you must prove that a research topic is worthy of investigation. And the second way to accomplish the first move is by introducing and reviewing key sources of prior research in that area to show where gaps exist or where prior research has been inadequate in addressing the research problem. Okay, so don't worry because we will be giving you guide questions in order to write this first move of the research introduction.
First move.
Yes, so what is the first guide question, Ma'am Mirna?
Okay, so the first guide question is that, what is the issue or topic all about?
Okay, so that is our question number 1. How about the second question, Ma'am Lynn?
Okay, number 2 question. What does the previous research tell us about this?
Yes, so we will be using those 2 guide questions in making our first move. Okay, so we have here an example. Ayan, so sa ating mga viewers, please be patient in reading. Kasi this is one of the characteristics that a researcher must have. Diba, Ma'am Mirna?
Yes.
Ayan, so
a good researcher must be a good reader.
Yes. So we have here an example. Kindly read naman, Ma'am Mirna.
Okay. So we have here an example, no, for the first move, which is establishing a territory. Okay, so let me read. Stress is an ever-present factor in the lives of students, many of whom have difficulty regulating stress and functioning to their fullest potential. Many individuals choose to relieve their stress by listening to music, and stress relief as a result of music listening has been researched through both physiological and self-perception studies. Music listening decreases physiological stress by indirectly decreasing cortisol levels. Studies focused on self-perceived stress levels found that listening to music with the goal of relaxation is significantly more effective than listening to music for the purpose of distraction, according to self-report measures.
Okay, so that is our first paragraph. Now, let's go back to our guide question. So, so on your screen, we have there a checklist. So, for question number 1, stated there, what is the issue or topic all about? So, let us see. From our first paragraph, nasaan doon yung sumasagot sa question na yon. Okay, so ayan. So, highlighted there is an explanation on what is the issue all about. And the issue is all about stress.
Yes, ma'am.
Ayan.
You have a very good example, Ma'am Rosel. Stress.
Okay, maybe this is
Nakaka-relate si Ma'am.
nakaka-relate si Mama, no?
Yeah.
So, nasagot ba yung ating
Question.
yung ating first question? So, the answer is yes, because na-explain what is the topic all about.
From the first sentence pa lang, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So, in that way, makakatch na agad yung attention ng inyong mga reader because you already discussed what is the topic. Okay, now let's go. So, yan. So, check na yung guide question number 1. This time, let's have the guide question number 2, which is, what does the previous research tells about this? Okay, so let us see from our paragraph. Okay, so it is also highlighted there that the previous research. So, ano yung sinasabi sa previous research? So, music listening decreases physiological stress by indirectly decreasing the cortisol levels. Studies focus on self-perceived stress levels found that listening to music with the goal of relaxation is significantly more effective than listening to music for the purpose of distraction according to self-report measure. So if you are going to analyze the last sentence, the last two
Two
sentences,
sentences,
so it tells us what the previous research all about.
Okay, so it means to say, ma'am, that there were previous researches about that topic and it was presented on that sample.
Yes, ma'am. So, definitely. So, you need also, bakit ganon nagdadalagaan? Okay, so you need also to include or to make a researches about the previous topic.
So there is a connectivity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, actually, when these grade 8 learners will have their lesson on the parts of research, they will encounter that actually.
Yes. Okay,
They
so
will encounter it.
yes, Ma'am Benjelu, you have additional inputs?
Yes, ma'am. Siguro, ma'am, ang ganda kasi nung sample natin. Pero siguro, magbigay din tayo ng sample ng scientific research kasi psychological or tong example natin. Pero siguro, para mas magiging simple para sa mga learners natin, ibigay natin yung di ba, when we say the first step is to establish,
Establish a territory.
Or simply by saying you look for a source of problem, di ba? So you look for a source of problem. So in writing your introduction, sa unang sentence or sa unang paragraph natin, we discuss about what is the topic or the issue all about. Let's say for example, ma'am, is the overuse of let's say plastics or single-use plastic packaging. So that is the problem. Pero there are plenty of researches that were conducted to solve the problem. So in the second paragraph, in the second part of our first paragraph, we can include the results of different researches about the topics. Let's say, for example, we want to focus on the use of bioplastics. So there are researches that have been conducted about the use of bioplastic to solve the problem. So pwede nating i-discuss dito kung paano ginagamit ang bioplastic para ma-solve yung ating topic or yung ating problem, which is about the overuse of single-use plastic food packaging, for example. So dito, dun sa first step natin na sinasabi natin kanina with Ma'am Rosel, our dear learners, establishing a territory is just simply finding a source of problem in your environment that we can actually solve. So when we introduce that on our introduction, babanggitin lang natin ano yung topic natin, what is the topic all about. So we discuss about the impacts of the overuse of single-use plastic, etc. How many tons of plastics have been or we are disposing every day in the Philippines, etc. And then how the researchers or the previous researchers find solutions for this. So yun yung gustong ipakita nung ating first move po sa CARS model, which is establishing a territory. So kapag scientific research, ganun naman po yung ating pwedeng gawing atake dito. Ma'am Rosel, Ma'am Mirna?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so summarizing the first move, ma'am, is you're going to discuss what is the topic all about and give a preview of the past researches. Okay, so yun yung summary ng ating first move. Okay, so
yes, Ma'am Rosel. Okay, so we are done with the first move.
Yes.
Now, may we have Ma'am Benjelu to discuss the second move, which is establishing a niche.
Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Mirna. So, second move under CARS model is to establish a niche. Okay, so ano ba itong tinatawag nating niche? Okay, so sa science, a niche is defined as an organism's way of life in an ecosystem including habitat, food, predators, and competition. Pero syempre, in research, hindi naman natin minimin na ganon yung meaning ng niche. Okay? So So, ito ginagamit lang naman ni Swales, yung word na niche para mas madali nating ma-picture out. Ito, kapag sinabi nating establish a niche, ang focus lang natin dito is that what has not been explored sufficiently. Ano yung hindi pa na-explore doon sa problem na in-state natin kanina, dun sa tulad nung binigay nating example kanina about stress. Ano pa yung hindi na-explore masyado ng mga researchers? Paano kaya makakatulong para bumaba ang stress level ng mga learners, for example. So, when you establish a niche, you have to determine any part or any area under your study or your scope which has not been explored sufficiently. Okay? So, the niche is the reason or motivation for the research. Ito yung nagda-drive sa atin para i-push natin yung pag-conduct ng research. Yan yung dahilan kung bakit natin ika-conduct ang research natin. So, that is to solve the problem that we have mentioned a while ago in the first paragraph. So, in this move, you are preparing your audience to understand how your research relates to the background you have given, highlighting gaps or problems in current knowledge that justify or explain the need for further investigation. So, kanina present natin yung problem. Present natin kung ano yung area or kung ano yung topic. Present natin kung ano yung result ng mga past researches. Pero ang tanong, ano yung gap?
Yes.
Ano yung
the insufficiency?
Oo, yung may insufficiency. Kasi hindi lahat ng research ay perfect.
Yes.
Meron pa rin silang mga findings na although nag-conduct sila ng research, naghanap sila ng solution, hindi perfect. So, meron silang mga recommendations dun sa mga studies nila. So, dun makakakita tayo ng gap na pwede nating gawing starting point para mag-proceed tayo in another research related to the topic that we have mentioned. Okay, so we have here a guide question. What has not been explored sufficiently? So tingnan natin, no? Let's give an example related to the example that was given to you by Ma'am Rosella a while ago. So we have it here. While the positive relationship between music listening and stress or stress relief has been supported within the general population, little research has been done to examine music's effect on the mental health and stress levels of students in particular. Students exhibit a higher rate of both stress-induced depression and anxiety than the general population due to the pressures of completing complex programs while often living away from home for the first time. As a result, the student stress relief is a critical part of ensuring student well-being, especially with the student mental health at the forefront. Sir Ryan, sumasayaw yung ating okay.
Malayo na.
Sorry, Ma'am Bench. Ayan,
at the forefront of many recent discussions among university, faculty, staff, and students. So dito, present lang natin dito sa move na to kung ano yung part na hindi gaanong na-explore. So kanina present yung relationship ng music and ng stress relief. Ngayon sabi, hindi pa na-explore kung ano ang effect ng music sa mental health at stress level ng mga students. So doon tayo pwedeng pumasok or mag-conduct ng further studies natin. Doon naman sa example na binigay po namin kanina, tungkol doon sa paggamit ng single-use plastic at paggamit ng bioplastic to solve the problem, pwedeng ang hanapin natin is ano yung mga weak points ng mga dating studies nila. Pwedeng naka-develop sila ng bioplastic na pwedeng gamitin food packaging kasi biodegradable yan out of starch from, let's say, kamoteng kahoy. Kaya lang, there is a problem with the bioplastic that they have developed. Even if it is biodegradable, it is brittle. So if it is brittle, it is not a good packaging material for food. So that is one weak point for the past researches na pwede nating i-develop na pwede nating gawan ng hanapan ng solusyon na kung saan pwede tayong mag-develop ng bioplastic na biodegradable at the same time medyo stretchy siya or medyo rubbery siya in nature, hindi brittle, so that it can follow the shape of the food that we are going to pack or to cover. So yun yung tinatawag natin na yung second part niya is establishing a niche.
Okay, so summarizing the second move, Ma'am Bench, so kapag sinabi nating move to establishing a niche, ang gagawin mo dito is you're going to look for the gap and insufficiency of the previous research. So that is all about the second move. Okay, so now let's have the third move by Ma'am Mirna.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Rosel. So, for the first move, you have identified the problem. For the second move, you identified the gap of the previous researches. This time, for the third move, which is occupying the niche, or in short, this is filling up the gap.
Yes, filling up the gap.
Okay, so this is
that you identified in the move
first
2.
move. Okay. Okay, in the first
in the
second
move 2, yes.
Okay. So this step is an explanation of how you are responding to the need for further investigation. Since you have identified a gap, okay, so this time naman you are doing a research, okay, of course, your objective will fill the gap, is to fill the gap. So explain how your research addresses the need you identified in the previous step and list your specific research objectives, okay, questions or methods. Okay, so when we say research objectives, okay, this describe what the research is trying to achieve and it provides direction to the study. Okay? And for your research questions, these are the questions that the research project sets out to answer. Okay, ito yung mga tanong na dapat masagot ng inyong project. And of course, methods. These are the strategies, processes, or techniques utilized in the collection of data or evidence for analysis in order to uncover new information or create better understanding of a topic. Okay, so we have here guide questions for the third move. Ayan, first, how are you going to respond to the need for further investigation? And number 2, what are your objective, questions, hypotheses, and methods? So this should all be seen in your introduction.
Yes.
Okay, so let us have an example. Okay, tuloy natin yung example natin kanina about the stress. Ma'am Rosel?
Yes, ma'am. So, for the third paragraph, we have here, this investigatory survey is the first step in a multi-stage study on how students use music in relation to stressful situations and how stress relief through music listening is perceived. So we hypothesize that students will report stress relief as one of the primary reasons they choose to listen to music, and that they will report choosing music they enjoy when they need to relieve stress. Patterns observed in student responses will be used to determine specific research questions for further investigation. And research on student stress relief could help to inform university or school policymakers on ways to create healthier campuses.
Okay, so if we are going to analyze, no? Okay, the first sentence there in that example answers the question number 1. Okay, di ba? How are you going to respond? So, andun na po yung sagot niya. This investigatory survey is the first step in a multi-stage study on how students use music in relation to stressful situations and how stress relief through music listening is perceived. So, the first question is already answered. Okay, and for the second question, okay, statement of your objective, questions, hypotheses, and methods. Okay, those were all embodied in the last, okay, 2 sentences. Okay, so yan po yung ating third move. Kailangan nating masagot yung 2 guide questions. Okay?
Okay, so ibig sabihin, ma'am, for the third move, from the gap that we identified in the second move, we are now going to fill in that gap for this third move.
Yes,
By
ma'am.
stating also your goal, you can also state here your question, your hypothesis, and even your method. Para kapag binasa the whole introduction, it is just like giving the the summary of your whole research study.
That is why, ma'am, it's very important that your introduction must be organized and
Yes.
strong. Make it strong. Because whenever a reader reads your introduction and it is very strong, you can capture his attention already.
Yes, so for the readers to continue reading your research or your material, you must provide a good research introduction.
Must embody everything. It must give the core, no?
Yes.
Core topic of your research project.
Okay, so for our learners, don't worry, don't be too stressed. Ayan, yan yung topic natin sa pag-susulat ng inyong research introduction. So just be guided with our questions. So you can screenshot the guide questions, or I guess it is also indicated in your learning activity sheet. Then you can make your own research introduction as a beginner researcher. Ayan. So that is now the introduction that we have made.
Okay, using the CARS model, Ma'am Rosel.
Yes, so ayan.
Anyway,
And nasa learning activity sheet din nila itong example na to, ma'am. So, ayan. So, ang ginawa lang natin ngayon is parang in-identify lang natin for every part. Okay? So, we just created a very comprehensive research introduction with the help of CARS model. So, thanks to John Suarez, the developer of this model. So, before we end, Ma'am Mirna.
okay, so once again, thank you, Ma'am Rosel, Ma'am Benjelu, Ma'am Erlinda, and Sir Ryan. But before we end, we have another special guest from grade 8, Aristotle, Stephanie Ansario, okay, for us to give a summary of what we have learned today.
Yes, hello, Stephanie. Calling Stephanie for the generalization of our topic CARS model. Andyan na ba siya? Please open your camera and your mic. And say hello first to your classmates. And attendance... Ay, hindi daw siya nagsasalita. Ayan na, nakikita na. Hello, Stephanie.
Anak, paki-check mo yung audio mo. Baka naman nakamute.
Hello po, ma.
Ayan. Yay. Okay, so kindly give the generalization for today's topic.
Good afternoon. I will be discussing the summary of creator research based on CARS, Model of Introduction. So CARS model was developed by John Suarez based upon his analysis of journal articles representing a variety of discipline-based writing practices. So there are 3 moves. This includes, first, establishing a territory. Second, establish a niche. Last but not the least, occupy the niche. CARS model can help you build an introduction, especially in STEM fields. The model consists of 3 rhetorical moves that help identify the background, motivation, and focus of the research. This framework can help give your reader a basic overview of your larger project. That's it. Hope you learned something. Good afternoon.
Wow!
Okay.
Ayan. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Stephanie. And of course, let's have another guest also to give a reflection for today's topic. So we have Cassandra Samson Javier from 8 Copernicus.
Yes.
Okay, Cassandra?
Ay, wala daw siya absent.
Wala siya. Kasi
Okay.
nasa Quirino province siya eh.
Okay.
Okay,
Wala
baka
siya, Sir
mahina
Joshel.
ang connection.
Mahina siguro ang connection niya, ma'am.
Okay, so anyway, ma'am, for the reflection part, maybe in the part of our learners, this is a very important topic and the model, especially in writing their introduction. So I understand na this pandemic made even more harder for them, na makapag-lesson ng ganito, research. However, by following the model, the CARS model, you can still create a good introduction. Ayan.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am Rosal, that's correct. Okay? Because using this model will help our student to make a very strong, a good quality introduction of their research project.
Yes, so okay, a reminder lang to our learners from 8, Socrates, Aristotle, and Copernicus. Your first performance task is the research title. So we discussed that last week. And for the second performance task is ito yon, yung they're going to make their introduction. So after watching this live discussion and listening to our RBI, I hope na madami kayong natutunan at ma-edit nyo kung ano man yung nasulat na ninyong research introduction. Okay, any additional reminders, Ma'am Lynn?
Okay, so of course, in research, meron din silang mga validating questions, di ba, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
learners, please don't forget to complete all your outputs. Please answer all the validating questions, the summative test, and of course, yung mga performance tasks. No, pakiayos na yan. And the retrieval schedule natin for na retrieval of outputs will be on
Monday.
Yes. And also distribution of your learning kits for quarter 2. Okay. So not only in research learners, but in all subjects, both in shift 1 and shift 2. Please complete all your outputs.
Yes. Okay, so ayan nga. This is the last week for the second shift. And to my dear learners of the SSC Special Science class, we will meet again on second quarter, second shift. Ayan. So this is the first live streaming and RBI of Research 1.
Okay, so ayan. So congratulations, my dear learners, because we were able to learn a very important lesson today. And always remember, your introduction or the opening paragraph of your paper will provide your readers with the initial impressions about the logic of your argument, your writing style, and of course, the overall quality of your research. That's why it's very important and it's very beneficial to you, this CARS model.
Yes, so as early as now, I would like to congratulate our learners for becoming researchers. Ayan, so, ayan po, see you again next quarter.
Thank you very much.
Sir Dennis, Sir Joshel, Sir Ryan, Ma'am Erlinda, Ma'am Benjelu, and of course, Ma'am Rosel. Okay.
And of course, our learners na naki-participate.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity in how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan. Ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
here we go. 106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela. This 106.3 DWDR FM.